Oh, it's cold. What's up guys, it's Megan and welcome to another video on the grieving process. This is going to be my third video on the grieving process and it's going to be about bargaining. So I don't know if you noticed or not, I know you probably didn't, but I'm missing my left arm, and if this is your first time on my channel, go watch the How I Lost My Arm video to find out how that happened. I only point out the obvious to bring up that the grieving I did after I lost my arm was brutal. My spectrum of emotions ranged from here to here. So yeah, and that's not even being dramatic. I'm surprised there's not footage of me like that on the internet. And I'm not making fun of mental health with those videos. That's literally how it is sometimes. So I know that might have been funny, but all jokes aside, that's real mental health issues, and I had my fair share of them. My goal with these videos is to hopefully educate you using my experience to help you kind of have a better grasp on what happens when you undergo a loss or a trauma, and so you can cope with it a little bit better. Personally, the more I learned about grief and what goes on in the brain after something bad happens, I think the more I was able to understand what was happening and why, the easier it was to kind of go through it, because I was able to kind of shift gears in my head and think, oh, I'm in a fit of rage because I'm in the anger stage of my grieving process. Grief is inescapable. You can't avoid it. More bad things are going to come your way in your life, and I think that this adversity of losing my arm has made me so much stronger and well equipped to handle other difficulties that have come my way. When you lose someone close to you, you don't go a day without thinking of that person. And they say time heals, but honestly, time doesn't heal. Your mental strength and capacity and ability to deal with things just gets better. For me, it's a little bit different. You know, I didn't lose someone, I lost a limb, but it's the same concept. I really don't go a day without, you know, doing a task and thinking like, oh my god, like this would be so much easier if I had two arms. And some days I'm able to just kind of like roll my eyes and brush it off, but other days it really upsets me, especially when I'm running late and I just can't do things as efficiently because I don't have leverage with my other hand. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, and when the bad days come, you just have to be patient with yourself and understand that not everyone can be happy all the time. Otherwise, I mean, maybe they can be. And if you're one of those people who can be happy all the time, DM me on Instagram and I want your number because we need to talk. Just be easy on yourself, and especially in the early stages of grief, be easy on yourself. Okay, I'm finally gonna talk about bargaining now, sorry. Oh, bargaining. We're not talking about like when you're at Goodwill or freaking the thrift store. No, this is a fight with yourself. When you're in the bargaining stage of grief, you fight with yourself every day. If you're in the bargaining stage of grief, you are gonna be asking yourself a lot of what if questions. You are gonna be beating the hell out of your mind. If you lost someone, it's usually questions like, what if I would have taken him to the hospital? What if I wouldn't have been mean to him that day? What if I would have told him I loved him more? What if I would have done more? What if I would have been there? What if I wasn't driving? Yada yada yada. The questions I asked myself, because I was on an ATV that I ultimately flipped over on top of myself, was, what if I wouldn't have been there that day? What if I wouldn't have driven? What if I wasn't friends with those people? What if I had been driving slower? What if I had put my seatbelt on? What if I had never moved back from Florida to Washington? And you will ask yourself these questions and you will cry. You will cry so hard, and you will look up and you will blame God, and you will blame your parents, you will blame your friends, you will blame yourself, because you're just like pushing and pulling with all of these ideas, and you're like, what the heck? Why? And this is essentially your brain's effort to somehow change the past. You're gonna drive yourself literally insane doing this. The longer you go back and forth and battle and try and somehow change something that has already happened, the longer you're gonna feel miserable. And the longer you are gonna stay right where you are in terms of your healing. You are not going to heal or get better or feel better if you are asking yourself questions like, what if I would have done this differently? What if I would have just said this? What if I would have been there? That is not conducive to getting better, and getting better is the priority. So I know I'm being very serious right now, but God, if I saw 15, 16-year-old Megan today, I would shake the shit out of her, because she was wasting a whole lot of time and mental energy thinking about what if, and you just can't do it, folks. Something that really helped me get out of this bargaining stage of grief was a conversation that I had with one of my high school counselors around my sophomore or junior year. And I was not a great student at the time, and I was skipping school a lot because I was miserable and going through all of this emotional turmoil. And so I had skipped school this day. I had skipped like the first couple periods, and I was coming in through the field house, through the back of the school, sneaking in. And the counselor who I had this conversation with is the scariest. He was the scariest one in our high school. There was like 3 people that you feared at my high school, and he was one of them. He's like this 6'3", big, bald guy. And he wasn't like a gentle giant either. Like, people were intimidated by him. I was intimidated by him, at least. He saw me sneaking in through the field house, and we just locked eyes. I remember just like locking eyes, and all he said was, "You're coming with me." And so I'm like following him, panicking, thinking I was in trouble. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? We end up getting to his office. He shuts the door behind him, sits me down across from his desk, and he says, "What's going on with you, kid?" I was like, nothing. I was so stubborn, and I just, God, I was such a brat too. That's another thing grief does, is make you a biatch. But then I kind of realized that he didn't call me into his office to get me in trouble, because he had a very relaxed tone, and he was just like, "What's up? How are you?" kind of thing. And so I don't know how he did it, but I ended up spilling my guts to this guy, and I told him how frustrated I was, how I hated that everybody looked at me different, everybody treated me different. My teachers were making excuses for me, and my family life sucked, and my parents kicked me out, and I hated it. I hated living like this. I didn't want to live in this body where I was special and different. I hated it. Ugh. Told him my confidence was at an all-time low. I didn't know what I was gonna do, if I was gonna be able to be a mom, if I was gonna be able to do all the things that I had wanted to do at that time of my life. And I remember him just like, actually listening to me, and, you know, just staring into my soul like, I get it. And then all of a sudden he starts rolling up his sleeve. It's funny. On his invisible arm. Just kidding, he obviously had one, but he holds his arm out, and he's got this giant scar on his arm. Really, you guys, it's like 3 iPhones long on his arm. And he looked at me and he said, "I almost lost my arm too." And I was like, dang. He had been an addict, and I don't remember if it was an infected needle or if he, like, I really don't remember. Maybe it was a gunshot or a car accident, but something really bad happened to his arm, and he almost lost it. So then what he does is turns around, opens up a drawer, pulls out this coin that's like this big, and it has the Serenity prayer on it. And God, this moment changed my life, you guys. Holy. And so most of you probably already know the Serenity prayer, but it's, "God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." So in that moment, I realized that everything I had confessed to him were my concerns about things that I had zero control over. And I was just so shook, you guys. Like even just thinking about that interaction like shakes me to my core to this day, because it was so freaking profound. It was just like all of these buttons just clicked in my head. It was like bleep, 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 bleep. Of course, his follow-up was, what can you control? And I just thought, well, my actions, the way I react to people and the way I treat them, and ultimately my perspective, what went on in my mind. I had control over that. I honestly hadn't realized up until that point that I had zero control over anything in the past. It was a huge, huge, huge perspective shift for me. The coin was a gift, obviously. He gave that to me. I still have it around here somewhere, but the bigger gift was that perspective he gave me. It was monumental in my life, and it's been 7 years now, and I still remember that conversation like it was yesterday, even though I can't remember what happened to him. But you get what I mean. That is my sole piece of advice to anyone who's going through grief, bargaining in particular. Control what you can control, and realize that you can't control what happened. Live now and make a conscious effort every single day to just do the best you can with what's going on and what you have currently. And I promise you, you will see a shift in your life and your attitude and the quality of your life. Anyways, this video might end up being kind of long, so sorry about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you can take the Serenity Prayer and apply it to your life. Regardless of your faith, I hope that you can use that and realize that it can really, really, really help you, and you're not alone. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you made it all the way here, I appreciate you so much. If you're not already a subscriber, go click it, because I got lots of good video ideas coming. I just designed my little office, so I'm excited. I'm going to give you guys a tour of it soon, and my family's coming into town, so I'm going to be doing a bunch of fun videos with them. So you're definitely going to want to subscribe, because my family is, well, I'm the craziest, but they're pretty crazy too. Give this video a thumbs up for me, guys, and I will see you next time.